Hello, viewers. Every once in a while, you have one of those races that's just awesome, where the other drivers are there to have a good, fun, fair race, and they're really, really close to you, and everybody's just trying to win without killing everybody else, and it just turns into one of those races that you just go, yes, the reason I keep playing this game. Check it out. Hello, folks, and welcome to Sardinia for what was absolutely one of the most amazing races I have ever had, ever, in any game. So we'll start off with qualifying. So here we go at the end of my first lap, which wasn't a bad lap, it was a good banker lap, put it that way. Put me P5 for now.
Okay.
Braking into turn 1 at around 70. Keep brakes on until you turn it in, do the trail braking thing, and then full throttle right here until the beginning of the gravel, the pale stuff on the right hand side. That's where I'm braking. Bring it around to the left, down to second. The right hand tires, you want to just touch that apex, and then back on the gas. Straight down here, braking halfway between the 50 and this wall. I don't know where else to say. It's like, that's your timing. It works. For me, there's probably a faster way to do it. There's people that are definitely doing faster times than this. This is all full throttle. And I brake at the end of this at around 104. Bring it around, get back on the gas as early as you can. It's easy to spin there, so you gotta be a little bit careful. So at this point, people are putting in faster laps. I'm down to P7. Bring it around. This is a let off the gas, bring it across, get back on the gas, and you just got to do it a lot until you get the timing right, I guess. It's just one of those hard to describe. Down to P8 now, but I'm on a good lap, so I know I'm doing all right. Hopeful to be ahead of some of these people. P9, P10, okay. Comes across with a 134.2, which puts me on pole, which I'll be honest, I was not expecting, as you can see from my comments right afterwards. So here we go, the World Series 2025 Exhibition 1 Final Nations Cup Round 1, with me on pole. Cool, huh? Now this is where I would normally call out the entire grid, but I'm not going to. I will, however, slow down the footage so you can see the amazing livery that I've put on this car. So here we go. 14 laps around Sardinia in the car that I use to grind this very race. So that's just like home for me. It's a beautiful thing. So into turn 1, I just want to survive this. I'm hoping nobody kills me. Nobody killed me. Okay, good start. My goal is to stay ahead, of course. You can see Captain Slow behind me is not actually as slow as his name might suggest. But so far, so good. I'm getting through the turns fairly well and not making any major blunders. Braking just a hair earlier than normal because my tires are cold, brakes are cold. You don't have to worry about that during qualifying because they're all set. Everything's exactly right, but not during the race. You gotta warm them up. Up the hill, braking at around 105, 107-ish. Get around the corner, back on the gas. And so far, so good. Staying ahead. It's a really fun track. This section is absolutely amazing. It's make or break. Off the gas, bring it around, get back on the gas. Terrifying. And so fun. Down in a second, back on the gas here as early as you can, but don't get on that grass. It's not good for your lap time. Ask me how I know. This corner is full throttle, but be careful you don't give it too much steering too quick. It's easy to spin. So here we are, end of lap 1. I'm now 1.3 seconds up, thinking, okay, I got a good chance. Let's keep going. No major blunders, I should be all right. Braking it around 70, went a little bit deep into that. Not too bad, it cost me a bit. If I can keep more than a second between me and the guy behind me, I figure I'm doing great. Braking at the gravel, bring it around, got a little bumpy. Kind of had to slow down a little bit more for the second half, but not terribly. I kind of got away with it. And then, I guess it's just after the second to last blue panel on the right is where I'm on the brakes. It's about halfway between the 50 and the end of the corner. Then up the hill. All I can think at this point is this car's not fast enough. Braking at 105, down through the gears, left, get back on the gas as early as possible. Don't spin there because you're going downhill and it's a bit of an off-camber corner, so you got to be careful. From left, bring it back to the right, and off the gas, bring it across, back on the gas, don't hit the wall. Sounds so easy, doesn't it? Braking at around 90. And then back on the gas as early as you can, because this is all full throttle down to turn 1. Nothing else really happened between then and the end of lap 4, when I decided to jump into the pits. Soft tires had had enough. It's time to put on the mediums. Mandatory change. Don't need gas. Here we go. Back out into, unfortunately, P8, 9, 10, 11. I did manage to hang on to P11, but I was a little careful going into T1. I didn't want to kill anybody if he decided to dive bomb that corner. So now I'm in traffic. Thankfully far enough behind P10 that I'm not getting supremely bad wash, but I do have to be a bit careful going into the corners. And I do have barricade coming up behind me, so in a bit of a spot I don't really want to be in. I was kind of hoping I wouldn't get into, but it is what it is. We go around into the really technical section. The two in front of me are fighting, so I'm thinking this should be a lot of fun. Let's see what it's like through treacherous turn 13. This one, they do all right, except JB decides to keep turning. Not recommended. All right, so promoted to P10. So now right in behind Rock, who's right in behind Faust. And I'm really hoping these guys get into the pits, but they don't. One person does, so now I'm in P9, but going into T1, potentially 3 wide, I'm just going to give these guys a little space, brake a bit early, and mind my own business and see what happens. Because I really didn't want to get caught up in that. I'm not at all where I want to be. I've got traffic in front of me that's slowing me down. Trying to make up some time, because Captain Slow is still out there. And these guys in front of me are not doing me any favors whatsoever. So fast forwarding to the end of the lap, and Monza and Minion dive into the pits, promoting me up to P7. But the guys in front of me are pulling ahead. They're pulling away. And this has got me a little bit worried that perhaps my strategy might have not been the smartest. It seems I should have stayed on the softs for at least another lap or two, because at this point, am I going to come out ahead of Captain Slow, now Mr. Nestler? Remains to be seen. And we come around treacherous turn 13 to find the person in front of the person in front of me is now the person behind the person behind me. At this point, Nestler, P3, pits. Now he's part of this group way out in front. We'll see what happens when we come down the pit straight. He's on the mediums. At this point I have to assume Captain Slow and Pumpkin King are also on the mediums. And we just about managed to get ahead right at the pit exit and stay in P5 into turn 1. Here we are, halfway through the race. I'm P5. I know that Captain Slow and Pumpkin King, and I'm almost positive Diablo, the top 3, all need to pit. So far I can honestly say. So if I can stay within... You have to change your tires. You don't have a choice. So the pit stop's about 20 seconds. If I can stay where I'm at, I got a chance of staying in the lead at the end of all the pit stops. Not quite able to catch a rock in front of me. He and I are pretty much equal. He's got good parts that are faster than me, and I've got spots where I'm faster than he is. Here we go through technical, treacherous turn 13, and I actually had to let off a little bit because his turn messed me up, and it was one of those weird situations, but managed to not die. The Shadow Realm did not take me just yet. So on lap 9, Rock ahead of me is still on the same tires, same mediums. He has a bit of a moment coming through turn 6 and gets a really poor exit. I squeeze between him and the barricade and up into P4. That works. Up the hill, slowly pulling ahead, hoping and praying, and thankfully he does not kill me in turn 9. Down the hill into the technical section, I'm still ahead thinking, thank goodness there are some really cool, fair, fun drivers out there. Turn 13. Got a little twitchy. Wanted to make sure I got through it safe. Now we have Pumpkin King going in for his pit stop. Captain Slow stayed out. And Diablo dives into the pits as well. Can I get ahead of Pumpkin King? Yes. Yes, I can, but barely. Just at the end, managed to get ahead. So, now sitting ahead of Nestler, 7/10. Captain Slow hasn't pitted yet. And the time differential between him and me is going to be really, really close. Now at this point, my tires are 6 laps old, mediums. Nestler, who just pitted, has pretty much brand new softs. So I'm not really planning to fight him all that hard. I know he's going to be able to get past me very, very soon, so I'm not handing him the position, but I'm not fighting him all that hard. And off he goes. That's fine. We'll see what happens in a couple of laps when his tires start to wear out, and mine are about the same wearingness. We go through turn 13, nice and clean. I'm not worried about Nestler necessarily at this point. My race is more with Captain Slow, who, as you can see, is not living up to his name at all. And is still almost 20 seconds ahead of me. Still hasn't pitted. So he's managed to put in these lap times on a set of mediums. And he's now going into lap 11. So well done to him for that, I gotta say. I'm impressed. Rock behind me. Pits for his softs. And I'm just doing my best to keep up with Nestler in front of me. Which so far, I'm not doing too bad. Got a little bumpy through there. Losing a little bit of time. I'm not really that disheartened by it. I'm on mediums that are fairly worn. He's on almost new softs, so I'm not too stressed over this. I did start on pole, but as I wrote at the beginning, I was not expecting that. That was a surprise. So now I'm 19.1 seconds behind Captain Slow, who still has his pit to do. And I have to assume he's going to do it this lap. Because you want to be on the softs if you can, and you have to do it. Again, make it through turn 13, still alive. Does he pit? Does Captain Slow pit? No. Now this is unexpected, because you can most definitely do 3 laps easily on a set of softs. So it may be that he just forgot, because I would 100% jump into the pits at the end of lap 11 at the absolute latest if I was on mediums and I wanted to get onto the softs, because they'll do 3 beautiful laps, no worries whatsoever. You can see Nestler's pulling ahead. I'm, as I said, not too worried about it. He's on softs, but I am keeping him at least in ice distance. You know, I can see him most of the time. Pumpkin King, however, is starting to worry me a little bit because he's catching up. And he's also on new tires. And they're the softs. And mine are not. So at this point, I'm really focusing on getting out of every corner as well as I can. Keeping everything as nice and smooth as possible, not missing any braking points. Like that one. Kind of got away with it, but you can see the time behind me goes ka-chunk, 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 and suddenly the Pumpkin King is breathing down my neck. Into turn 13 with him literally on my bumper. I got away with it, but this is not pretty. He thankfully, I guess he backed off a little bit, and finally, Captain Slow dives into the pits. I'm, 18.3 odd seconds back. 3-ish seconds behind Nestler.
Mine are still going, but...
Around the final corner, Captain Slow is on his way out of the pits, and I managed to not kill him and me as he exits. Oh, but I did go really deep into turn 1. I had to make sure that I wasn't going to get killed by the Pumpkin King, gave him some space. And this is where things start to get a little bit crazy. Me and the Pumpkin King had ourselves a right good battle. Captain Slow managed to get back out and stay in P4, but he's most of a second behind me, so it's me versus Pumpkin King. Well, with Captain Slow definitely playing a role from time to time. Here he comes.
I guess I will.
I'm just doing my very best to stay close and see if I can get a chance to get by somewhere. I'm on the outside, which you don't want to be into this necessarily. Down through the brakes, or down through the gears. Got a good exit down here, but I've still got Captain Slow right behind me. Into the super fast corner, being a little bit cautious, and thankfully did not hit the wall. I was damn close. Down through the gears, penultimate corner. Got to get a good exit out of here because this is all full throttle. Tires are now very unhappy with me.
Oh my golly gracious. Okay.
Doing my best to keep everything as nice and smooth as I can. Captain Slow's coming up, 2.5 tenths, 2 tenths. He's most definitely close enough to go for it. And, kind of does, but I closed the door on him a little bit. I'm like, you know what? You're not fully alongside me, so I'm just going to take that space back. Thank you. And that was that.
Not killing me, thank you.
Pumpkin King, now a half second ahead. And the two of us get promoted when Nestler decides to spin in turn 5. Crap, but thank you. So now I'm technically battling for the lead again. So I started on pole, so it's somewhat fitting. But I've got really worn out tires, and the Pumpkin King does not. However, I seem to get a much better exit out of turn 6. And again, I go to the outside, thinking maybe, no, let's try the inside. And, do I? Can I? Not quite. Not quite. I'm not going to make some crazy dive and wreck both our races. Up the hill towards turn 13. And nice and smooth, but I had to get off the gas a little bit extra early to make sure I didn't slam the wall. Captain Slow saw that.
I was in the door, so no.
Nice penultimate corner. Got on the gas fairly well, but I've got dude behind me in slipstream, so can I pull this off? Can I? I mean, we're down to like less than. It's my freaking out at this point. But I managed to pull off a second place by less, what was that? 0.008 of a second. That was one of the best races I have ever had. Ever. No issues with anybody being crazy, so hats off to all of these guys. Pumpkin King, Captain Slow, Nestler, I'm sorry you had that spin. You were kicking our asses and would have ended up winning this for sure. wow, this is why I keep coming back to Gran Turismo 7, because once in a while you get one of those races and it's just so damn good. And this was one of them. So I hope you enjoyed. I certainly did. If you did, hit the like button, get yourself subscribed. Have an awesome day. I'll catch you next time. Peace.